Hello, my name is Stevie Dubins, and I simulated every possible battle between gym leaders, Elite Four members, and champions. That is over 5,000 unique battles to find out who is the very best. In this one, I'm going to be going over top 10 trainers and ranking them by win percentage versus other trainers. If you want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe and let me know what you think the hardest trainer on this list is. Here are the trainers I have previously said are in the top 10. At number 10, I have Kukui, the champion of Alola. He ended with a win percentage of 81, which is good for first in his generation. His team of Lycanroc, Ninetales, Braviary, Magnezone, Snorlax, and Incineroar ranked on average 229th overall. We will see throughout this list that top 10 either has really good type diversity or just really strong guys. Or in the case of the very top of the list, both. Kukui has great type diversity, but I think the thing holding him back is a lack of speed. The worst trainer that beat Kukui was Rika, the Paldean Elite Four member who finished 68th overall. At number 9, I have Raihan of the Galarian Elite Four. He ended up with a 83 win percentage, which was second in his generation. His team of Torkoal, Gudra, Turtonator, Flygon, and Duraludon ranked on average 232nd overall. I think this team has a similar issue to Kukui in that it does have great type diversity, but is going to be bullied by faster and stronger teams. That type diversity is going to prevent you from losing a lot of matches though. Also, I want to commend Raihan for not just spamming mono dragon types like a lot of dragon trainers tend to do. Looking at you, Drayden. Raihan's worst loss came against B, the fourth gym leader from this region, who finished 73rd overall. At number 8, I have Siebold of the Kalos Elite Four. He ended up with a win percentage of 83, which was first in his generation. His team of Clawitzer, Gyarados, Starmie, and Barbacle ranked on average 204th. Siebold has decent type diversity, but mainly just has two of the top Gen 1 mons in Gyarados and Starmie. The speed and power of Gyarados and Starmie is going to win you a lot of matches alone. His worst loss came against Watson, the third gym leader of Hoenn, who finished 67th overall. At number 7, I have Drake of the Hoenn Elite Four. He ended with a 83 win percentage, which was first in his generation. His team of Shelgon, Altaria, Kingdra, Flygon, and Salamence ranked on average 230th overall. Dragons are just really good. It's a great typing and has a lot of resists and really only loses to other dragons, ice types that are terrible, and fairies, which there aren't really that many fairy specialists. This list is going to be littered with dragons, and I would argue this is a pretty mediocre version of the dragon team that only excels because they are dragons. His worst loss came against Bryson, the 7th gym leader from Unova, who finished 81st overall. At number 6, I have Lance of the Kanto Elite Four. Lance finished with a 83 win percentage, which was second in his generation. His team of Gyarados, Dragonair, Aerodactyl, and Dragonite ranked 279th overall. Lance is the original dragon spammer, but unlike the others, he does have an ice answer in Aerodactyl and Gyarados. He also has two Dragonairs, because that's just what we did in Gen 1. His worst loss came against Opal, the 5th gym leader from the Galarian region, who finished 66th overall. See, what did I say? He doesn't lose to ice types, he loses to fairy types. At number 5, I have Champion Lance of the Johto region. Lance finished with a win percentage of 84, which was first in his generation. This time he evolved his Dragonairs and added a Charizard, which is a much needed resist against those fairies that don't exist yet, so good preparing Lance. This is actually the strongest team of all time by a wide margin, coming in at 85th overall on average. His worst loss came against Bryson, the 7th gym leader from Unova, who finished 81st overall. It's funny to me that when Lance evolves his Pokemon, he loses a guy that the other Lance didn't lose to. At number 4, I have Champion Blue of the Kanto region. Blue finished with a win percentage of 84, which was first in his generation. His team of Pidgeot, Alakazam, Rhydon, Executor, Gyarados, and Charizard ranked on average 267th overall. At this point, you have both great type diversity and great mons, which Blue has a lot of. He also has an Executor, but there weren't a lot of choices back then, so we'll forgive him for that. His worst loss came against freaking Bryson, the 7th gym leader from Unova. When I did my overall top 10 list of mons, I also went through the worst loss of each mon And spoiler alert, it turned out that Shiinotic beat 5 out of 10 top 10 mons, and I think Bryson might be Shiinotic tier, which is a sentence I don't think anyone has ever uttered. At number 3, I have Hassel of the Paladin Elite 4. He finished with a win percentage of 87, which was first for his generation. His team of Noivern, Hexerus, Dragalge, Flapple, and Baxcalibur ranked on average 205th overall. This, I would argue, is the almost perfect Dragon Spam team. He's got Dragalge for fairies and Baxcalibur to resist ice. You've got so many good mons here on this team, and they actually complement each other. We've come a long way since Lance Dragon Spam in Gen 1. Also, I hate to nitpick, but I would prefer to see Dragon Steel type instead of Dragon Poison because it beats both fairies and ice types rather than just fairies. Hassel's worst loss unfortunately came against Jasmine instead of Bryson, the 6th gym leader from Johto, who finished 76th overall. At number 2, I have Champion Leon of the Galarian region. We have a pretty big jump in win percentage here, because Leon won 94% of his matches, which made him number 1 in his generation. His team of Aegislash, Dragapult, Haxorus, Seismitoad, Cinderace, and Charizard ranked on average 162nd overall. We've got 4 of the strongest guys of all time in Aegislash, Dragapult, Haxorus, and Cinderace. And Seismitoad and Charizard aren't great, but they do add type diversity and also, they're decent in their own right. This is the type of team I want to see going forward into the future when it comes to champions. Leon's worst loss came against Byron, the 6th gym leader from Sinnoh, who finished 60th overall. Not really sure what happened here, but let's just move on, I guess. At number 1, I have the champion of the Sinnoh region, Cynthia. Cynthia won 95% of her matches, which was number 1 in her generation. Her team of Spiritomb, Roserade, Gastrodon, Lucario, Melodic, and Garchomp ranked on average 176th overall. Cynthia is often talked about as the best trainer of all time, so this is fairly unsurprising. Cynthia had 5 losses. 3 of them were against the top 10 in Hassel, Blue, and Champion Lance. The 4th was against a very strong Elite 4 member, Poppy. And the last was against Lucian, who I said, at the time, had a really well-constructed team and finished 18th overall. Cynthia doesn't lose, and when she does, it's against top-tier talent. So that's my series. If you watched this one or any of the others, thank you. I'm going to try something completely different for the next video. I will try to get it out Friday. Try is doing a lot of work in that sentence because I've been playing a lot of Battlecho recently, so that's taking a lot of my free time. Anyway, thanks again, and goodbye.